Welcome to Yankee Chronicle. For the next 2 weeks, our show is presented by New London Hospital that now serves 15 communities within the Kearsarge Lake Sunapee region. I'm your host, Abby Peel. The 2024 Hospital Days begins August 1st through 3rd, and you won't want to miss all your old favorites as New London Hospital Days celebrates its 98th edition. On today's show, our Elizabeth D'Orazio meets interim CEO Lauren Geddes Wirth. She'll bring us up to speed on the current happenings here at your community hospital and Newport Health Center. We'll hear the story of Annie Frye, one of the many craftspeople that will be showing with the League Fair at Mount Sunapee Resort. Nancy Tripp will give us a rundown on the balance of the 2024 Summer Music Associate season. And everything theater this summer over at the London Barn Playhouse with the Director of Education, Sage Tokach. And we'll close with Laura McCrillis Kessler to Sunapee Harbor to tell us about another murder mystery on the Lake Queen. Don't go away, we'll be right back after these short messages from the businesses that keep YCN, your local view, coming to you.
This program is supported by HR Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. HR Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. Main Street Bookends of Warner, for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Welcome to Yankee Chronicle. I'm Elizabeth D'Orazio coming to you right here from New London Hospital, the area's fixture for primary care, emergency services, and the place we always call when we know our kids get sick and we need help. I'm joined by Dr. Lauren Geddes Wirth, who is not only someone who you see here every day as the Chief Medical Officer, but she's also been the interim president for the last 6 months. So this poor woman doesn't sleep, but she's giving it her all to make sure that New London Hospital progresses to give us what we need for our family and friends. So could you tell me a little bit about how the transition has been for you from going from that medical officer job to interim CEO, because that's two very different hats, Lauren.
Yeah, so I started at New London last September as the Chief Medical Officer, and then it was actually in April when I started as the interim CEO. And I have to say the transition actually was fairly easy because, first of all, Tom Mannion was wonderful in helping me with that, but the senior leadership team here is just incredible. You know, they're dedicated to the communities that we have. Their strategic thinking is wonderful. And here it was easy to come. I always say I came home to this area. My husband grew up in Newport. Okay. We both went to school here. We have had a place up here probably for about 15 years. I always say so we could be near his family, but not necessarily with his family. And so our kids learned how to ski at Sunapee, have hiked the Upper Valley. It's just been wonderful to come back.
And it's a slightly different role. Can you kind of tell us what the characteristics of each of those roles are so we can understand your contribution? Sure.
So Chief Medical Officer is kind of oversees anything medical. So we have 2 ambulatory clinics, one here at New London and at Newport. We have a very busy emergency room and express care, our type B emergency room. And so really anything that's medical falls under the Chief Medical Officer, policies, the physicians, not the nurses and the other staff. We have a Chief Nursing Officer who's wonderful with that. Again, we have a 25-bed critical access hospital here. under the CEO is the chief medical officer, the chief nursing officer, the chief operating officer, finance, human resources, communications, marketing. It all falls under the chief executive officer. And so it is really letting your team do the work that they're wonderful at and just helping kind of bring it all together under the strategy for New London Hospital to take the best care we can of our communities.
One of those challenges is the ongoing stress on primary care, people moving to the area, having different needs. When we talked to Tom Mannion last year, he explained that there was a need to adapt to these challenging needs. But I understand that with you and your team that strides have been made to make primary care more accessible, maybe open up more slots because it was full at one time. Can you kind of tell us where that's moved at this point?
Yes, so I'm excited to talk about this because we are almost fully staffed in primary care at both New London and at Newport. So we've brought on a bunch of providers, both physicians and APPs. In doing that, we've done some reorganization. So at New London, for example, they've decided to go into 5 different teams, each with a different theme. So it's pediatrics and senior care, osteopathic family care, lifestyle medicine, and generational medicine. And the communities will be learning more about each of those teams in the next few months. At Newport, they've split into 2 primary care teams. And the whole premise there was to really improve the continuity of care that we give our patients. So when you call, ideally, you'll get to see your provider. But if your provider is not available that day, then you will see another team member. So the teams will really get to know the patients. And that's the best way to take high-quality care of our communities.
One of the best things, my family's in the Dartmouth care system, is I always know my nurses and doctors are always talking to each other. So in the event like someone is busy, I always get the same member of the team. And it's been incredible because they've been with my family since my kids were little. One of the other challenges you've had to deal with is that you shut down surgical services, but this was done on purpose to include some upgrades. Can you kind of tell us how you're bringing those surgical services into the forefront?
Yeah, so it's actually exciting. So we are, the ORs have been shut down since the middle of June. We'll actually open up at the end of this month. We are replacing something called the air handler system. So our air handler was about 20 years old. The new air handler is much larger. It will actually sit up on the roof, so it'll be much more easily accessible if we need to make repairs. But the standards of air exchange in ORs has changed in 20 years, as you might imagine. This unit not only takes us to those standards, but will take us beyond that. And surgical services has increased here. So we have a vibrant orthopedic Dartmouth Health orthopedic service here, as well as urology and neurosurgery. We just brought on another general surgeon last fall, and we're excited to get those ORs back up and running again and taking care of our communities.
I'm going to say, with all the hats you wear and everything happening, I bet you don't get a moment's rest.
Busy days.
But we very much appreciate it. So I'd like to thank you, Dr. Wirth, and everyone here at New London Hospital for continuing to expand the quality of care we receive for our family and friends.
Stay with us after these messages as we get to meet another New Hampshire craftsman, Annie Frye, who will be showing at the fair August 3rd through 11th. But first, these words from a community-minded business that underrates our stories. You could be one too by contacting us at ycnnow.com.
This program is supported by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications.
Welcome back to the Yankee Chronicle, the who, what, where, and when show of the Lake Sunapee region. I'm your host, Abby Peel. Since 1933, the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen has had their annual fair. Let's meet one of those showing at this year's event at Mount Sunapee Resort.
Hi, I'm Annie Frye. I'm a felt maker with the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen. I have my studio at my home in our 200-year-old barn in Hopkinton, New Hampshire. I've been a juried member of the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen for 12 years. Felt making is this wonderful alchemy of wool, and I use merino wool, and silk, and I use silk chiffon fabric, and water and pressure. So the way I begin is to lay out my images, whether it's pink tulips or these morning glories. I use merino wool in all sorts of colors, and often I will have the real flower in the room with me as I'm looking at it, and just laying it down. Here comes the water part of the process. This is cold water. Often you hear you felt with hot water, but in this case I want to slow down the process. And then I enclose the whole piece in plastic. And the next step is where the pressure comes in, which is rolling it in these grass mats 800 times. This is where the magic happens. And this is a process of pushing down and rolling 800 times. So by the end of this whole process, that table's worth of layout will end up 50% smaller, and this is my final piece of fabric. As a craftsperson, I'm always reminded that the standard of excellence to strive for. So I really give that a lot of thought. And then I also am reminded of the goal of craftspeople at the League is to express the spirit of the maker. And I really try to think about, is the work I'm doing identifiable to my work? And then thirdly, as a businesswoman, how lucky are we to have an organization that's dedicated to promoting us? It's such a professional group that just is, it's a gift that they're dedicated to events and to publicity and to support of us to make our business better. So that is, in my mind, is just a rare gift to have this league. It's been really important to me.
It is amazing that so many talented craftspeople exist in our state. I know that the League is still looking for volunteers to work, and you can get in for free. Just contact them. Up next, we'll hear from Nancy Tripp about the balance of the 2024 Summer Music Associates season.
Jersey Boys is the international music phenomenon that takes you behind the scenes and behind the music of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Winner of the Best Musical Award at the 2006 Tony Awards, Jersey Boys tells the story of the Four Seasons' 40-year friendship and rise to stardom. Jersey Boys does contain adult language and adult situations and may not be appropriate for our young musical theater goers. Audiences will be thrilled with the electrifying performances of chart-topping hits including Sherry, Big Girls Don't Cry, Walk Like a Man, and I Can't Take My Eyes Off You, just to name a few. If you loved Beautiful in the 2023 summer season, we think you're gonna go crazy for Jersey Boys.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel. Only 3 more music performances are left on the Summer Music Associates calendar. Tell us more, Nancy.
July 25th, we are bringing a different pianist. Many of you are probably not familiar with him. His name is Paul Bisaccia. Paul's program for Summer Music Associates is going to be a special homage to his great musical grandfathers. He will play a concert of music by Beethoven, Czerny, Haydn, and Liszt. And the reason he's chosen these composers is that his teachers and those pianists' teachers go all the way back to students of those composers. So Paul brings technology to the concert so that you can watch his hands while he plays. He tells wonderful anecdotes and gives us the history and some humor about these composers and their compositions. So it's an entertaining evening, and we get to hear some of the most beautiful piano music ever written. Beethoven's celebrated Waldstein Sonata, the romantic piece Fioralice, and Liszt's famous Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2, one of the most popular piano pieces ever written. So that concert is going to be just spectacular. So on August 8th, we will have an extraordinary brass group called Alias Brass. And they have a very wide artistic range, combining diverse elements of classical music, modern pop culture, and all things in between. They like to create an experience that's both engaging and exciting. Alias Brass has a mission that they want to ensure that music remains sustainable and is thriving in today's society. And they create a gateway into classical music for future musicians and music lovers alike. They're very dedicated to presenting music that is accessible to our youth, and that is one of the missions of Summer Music Associates as well. So we are extraordinarily pleased to be able to host Alias Brass. On August 22nd, we have the return of the Uptown Jazz Ten-Tet. These guys were pulled together back in 2016 by Willie Applewhite, who's a fantastic jazz musician. He wanted to bring together a lot of his friends to put together a ten-tet, which he thinks is the ultimate number, to be able to compose orchestrally, but also to feature fantastic jazz soloists. So he said, well, I happen to have the best jazz musicians in New York are my friends because they're all Juilliard graduates. So that's who he used to put together this great group. They came a few years ago. We had an enormous audience, standing ovations, and they are fantastic. So they're coming back. So we're thrilled to have them to finish out our season on August 22nd. We are really excited about this season, and more information will be available on our website. We hope to see you at the concerts. We know you will have a wonderful time there.
Thank you, Nancy. And now we're talking everything theater this summer over at the new London Barn Playhouse with the Director of Education, Sage Tokach. Hi, Sage.
Hi, Abby.
This is so fun to talk about all the things that are happening at the barn, but specifically, there's a lot for kids.
Our outdoor Shakespeare show, which is free at the Tracy Memorial Library and Garden.
I love that.
And it's Macbeth this year, which we have never done in jazz. We do a Shakespeare every year, but this is the big drama.
Exciting and still family friendly.
Still family friendly.
Okay, good. And then you move into Tuck Everlasting, which must be really exciting to do.
Yes, that one has been requested by the JIs for a long time, and so we're really excited to finally be able to make it happen. It's a really beautiful story. I think it's going to be some beautiful images, and the music is great.
Great, that's fantastic. And then you always end with a banger, and this year's School of Rock.
Yeah, School of Rock I'm so excited about. That's the one that I'll be directing, and it's going to be the biggest cast of the season.
Wow.
We've got a guest coming back, a former JI, Jonathan Glidewell, who is a musician. You can catch him all the time in town at Little Brother Burger playing guitar, and he will be bringing his guitar to the stage as Dewey Finn.
And what are the dates for School of Rock?
So School of Rock will be performed August 15th and 17th.
Talk about sensory-friendly performances that you offer.
Yeah, that was a really exciting addition that we started last year, working with Student Support Services with Kearsarge Schools, and Larry Elliott was a really big help with that. So we create now during our final dress rehearsals, we have a preview. So for the sensory-friendly previews, we invite folks who might want a sensory-friendly experience, so we dim the lights a little bit. There's less people in the audience, so we make it more friendly to anybody who might have some of those sensitivities.
And people can just find out more information on the website?
Yeah, and it's free. You can just sign up on our website.
So talk about the junior intern program, because we use the term JIs, and it's a group of kids who have an interest in theater who are with you for the whole summer.
Yeah, and some students are with us for the entire summer, literally before they even get out of school until the end of the summer, right before they go back. And some come for a show or two, depending on availability. And it's a lot of local students from Kearsarge schools and other schools in the area nearby. But we also have students who come to visit grandparents and come for the summer from Seattle and Nashville and Colorado.
Fun, so they all get to know each other other and spend the summer together.
Yeah, absolutely. And the group chat is going year round.
That's fantastic. And then talk about camps, because you're pretty sold out for this summer, but it's such an amazing program for parents of young kids who want to taste at theater.
Yeah, and we keep expanding. So the camps are for age 6 through 11, and we have it broken up into age groups. And we have some fabulous teaching artists that come from all over the country to work with us. And this year we have 8 weeks of camp, which is the most we've ever done.
Wow.
So again, we're starting right away when school gets out and ending now at the same time that School of Rock will be ending.
Amazing. And for next year, because you're pretty much sold for this summer, but when can people learn about the camps, the dates, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we've been announcing them right over that winter break, sometime in December, so that we can start getting those schedules out. And they've been filling up quickly. We've got a lot of great themes this year.
Amazing. Talk about your staff that comes into the barn. I mean, people are always fascinated with how many states are covered of just people coming from the barn, but how do you find your staff? What are their backgrounds?
Yeah, so sometimes people reach out because they know the barn as a name in the theater community, but we also post jobs on common job sites, on Backstage and Indeed and all of the job sites, and so we get a lot of applications and we do interviews starting in January. And some people are returning because they come and they love to come back, just like we see on the main stage. But we have some really great staff members this year. Our director of the junior intern program, his name is Ishu, and he's currently a grad student at UT Austin, but he is originally from India and has a lot of experience from different countries around the world.
Wow.
So we're really excited to bring in some different viewpoints.
That's amazing. And not to talk too much about fall, but it'll be here before we know it. You've done an amazing job of ramping up a lot of programming in the off season and making the barn be a 365-day facility. But what are some of the plans for things in the fall?
Yeah, so we will have some of our classic productions. Our big holiday production this year is going to be Seussical, which will be really fun. And we'll have some more classes. We're actually partnering with Dance Arts Academy to do a music theater dance class at the barn. And then we'll be doing our next big touring show with professional actors touring to schools and other organizations in the area. And that is a show based on The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats.
Amazing. And there's a lot of information on the website people should check out. But for tickets for the children's theater shows that we talked about, head to the box office and be able to find more information. Sage, there's always so much going on, and I think amazing to start these young kids in theater early on. How fantastic.
Thank you so much, Abby.
Thank you. A mystery on the Lake Queen will be revealed to us when we return, so stay tuned here on Yankee Chronicle for these words from those that make this show possible.
This program is supported by Main Street Bookends of Warner. For books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner.
Welcome back to the Yankee Chronicle, the who, what, where, and when show of the Lake Sunapee region, being presented by the New London Hospital. I'm your host, Abby Peel. The Newport Opera House had such a great murder mystery on the Sunapee Lake Queen last year that they are following it up with 2 brand new shows this summer. Tell us more, Laura.
So we were at the point where what could we do in the summer outside of the Opera House, because we don't have air conditioning, to bring visibility to the Newport Opera House Association, which has been around coming up on 50 years, and get out into the community and have a little bit of fun. So we discussed it, and as a board we decided we wanted to do an event on the lake, and then we discussed certain options, and it seemed the best fit for us because, of course, we are well known for our community theater productions, would be to create a murder mystery and have it on the MV Lake Queen. We are going to be holding a second year murder mystery on the Lake Queen right here on Lake Sunapee on the fabulous MV Lake Queen. Now, what is this, you might ask? It's a wonderful afternoon on the lake from 2 to 4 p.m. on either July 28th or Sunday, August 4th. They're both Sundays from 2 to 4 p.m. And you get to come on board and experience an incredibly wonderful murder mystery with all sorts of twists and turns, with local actors taking on personas from the 1950s. If you were with us last year, we have a different storyline and a different time period. Now, if you're really adventurous, we would encourage you to don 1950s attire. So that could be anything from poodle skirts, bobby socks, leather jackets, or thinking about perhaps a glamour look, or a business look for the men, or the ladies in the 1950s. Your ticket price will include appetizers and a non-alcoholic drink package. There will be a cash bar on board if you so wish. So just do a little bit of exploring and come on board and enjoy some fun. We'll have awards for the best costumes and best detective if you can figure out who done it. And what was amazing was that so many people, everyone, they were so engaged in trying to figure out who the murderer was. It's an interactive event, so our actors will be on both levels of the boat. Obviously, it's not a theater as it is, but it will be in some regards this July and August. And they will be doing their scenes both downstairs and upstairs, and they will switch. But there's a lot of interaction with the patrons. So you can sit there, you can ask questions as they're mingling amongst you, dropping perhaps clues. You have to listen because everything that you see and you hear may very well be part of the mystery. The Newport Opera House Association is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was formed back in the late 1970s by a group of very dedicated and passionate individuals spearheaded by Charles Massey, who wanted to restore the dignity of this opera house and to get it in use again for our community. It's really the center of our community in Newport, and so many things have taken place over the years in this space. So a group of volunteers came in and they really worked from bottom to top to get the space so it would be able to be used again and for performances, and that started in the late 1970s. Today, the Newport Opera House Association still has a vibrant presence, the Newport Opera House. We have events over the course of the year, starting in September through the beginning of June. Everything from concerts. Last year we had the world famous Glenn Miller Orchestra come in. They will be back this coming year on November 22nd. We hold an annual Halloween masquerade dance with Last Kid Picked. Again, we'll have that this year, the last Saturday in October. We are partnering, we continue to partner with Mount Royal Academy. We'll have a fall production with them. We're hoping to bring back a musical for the spring of 2025. And so keep your eyes and ears open for that. Of course, we will continue with Dancing with the Newport Stars with the Newport Chamber of Commerce and also our Winter Carnival pageant, and in between other events. You can get information about what we are doing both on our Facebook page, so look for Newport Opera House Association and please follow us, and also on our website, or you're welcome to call the box office. I would, though, like to recommend that if you are interested in getting tickets for this event, to act quickly, because we are over halfway and 3/4 sold out for the July 28th and the August 4th dates.
Thanks, Laura, and thank you to the Newport Opera House for bringing us great and unique entertainment year-round. I'd like to thank our host location, New London Hospital, with their annual Hospital Days celebration. Don't miss all of the activities beginning Thursday, August 1st, for 3 days of midway rides and games, chamber night, Friday's band night, and the Saturday parade, and so much more. You can find a full schedule of events at their website, newlondonhospital.org. Click on the events link to see more. Coming up next week, we'll meet with Kate Bidlack, the hospital's event coordinator, with more details on this year's Hospital Days events. Elizabeth Harper from the Lake Sunapee Protective Association will give us an introduction to their deployed buoy. We'll meet the new owner of the Public Market in Warner. And we'll close with a visit with the New Hampshire League of Craftsmen, Lulu Fichter, and get a Spring Ledge Farm corn update. Tune in to YCN's Game of the Week featuring the replays of high school sports from last year. This week we have boys soccer featuring Fall Mountain at Kearsarge. Games play Sundays and Mondays at noon and 7 p.m. on TDS channels 13 and 1013, NCTV 8, Roku, Apple TV, and for those that don't have cable, our YCNNow.com website carries all of our programming anytime on demand. I'm Abby Peel. Join us again next week as we come to you from New London Hospital again for an all-new edition of Yankee Chronicle. Enjoy the summer, everyone.